We're back to the Neil Haley Show, and I have a surprise guest, Sheila E, joining this show, and she's going to be in Pittsburgh on the 27th. Sheila, how are you? And thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Good, good. So what kind of update, how exciting it is to be on tour? It's got to feel great. It's always one in the kind in the crowd, right?
It is. It's so much fun. I really enjoy it. I mean, it's not as easy as they think it is. People think, oh, we just show up. It's all of what happens before we even get there and trying to get, places. But once we get on stage, it's well worth it to the response of the people and to be able to play, music and make people happy for that amount of time that we're all together. It's pretty awesome.
How much preparation time does it take to start a tour? Kind of go through that process. How does that work?
For these type of shows, there is no process in which we're rehearsing or anything. What we're doing is I just put together the show, give everyone the music. We show up at the first gig, and which is tonight here in Philly, and we'll go run it through sound check, and that's the show. There is no, for us, we're used to playing together, so we make changes as we go along, but
it's a natural. It's like riding a bike with them, right? You come back with your crew and you're ready to roll, right?
Absolutely.
Tell us that performance process once you get on stage. How does it make you feel? It's like you're alive and your crowd is alive, right?
Oh yeah. I can speak for the whole band, but especially me. I mean, I get really nervous before I perform still, and that's a great feeling to have the butterflies and the excitement, knowing that we're getting ready to perform. The first song or so, we're getting used to the ambiance of the room, because we can do sound check, but as soon as people come into the building, it changes the sound completely. So we're getting used to that, and you just start playing, and after a while you forget, you feel like you're in your living room, which is always great, and you're enjoying your company.
Totally. So what should people expect in Pittsburgh on Thursday night?
A lot of fun. There's going to be new songs, old songs, and we're going to make up songs, and we're going to vibe off the audience. So whatever you all bring to us, we're going to vibe with that. You never know, someone might show up on stage, or sometimes I bring an audience member. It just depends on, how lively the audience is, but you're going to have a great time.
And how many times have you in your career performed in Pittsburgh? A lot, right? For sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't even count. It's been many times. Yeah.
And your memories of Pittsburgh. What are your fondest memories when you go to Pittsburgh?
Most places, the first thing that we remember when we get into a city is, where are we going to eat? Because that place that we came to last time is amazing. We always talk about food. We're foodies, and we just love the food there, and it's just amazing, and the people, of course.
So for your fans, what else is new with you? Give us some updates.
We just released a new salsa record, my first ever salsa record, called Bailar, and you can get it. It's streaming, but you can also go to my website and get it, and I'll sign it. And also, if there's any places like Barnes and Noble, any place where they sell vinyl and CDs, you can also get it, but they've been selling out, so they've been reordering, which is great. We have a lot of incredible artists on this new album, especially because I've never done a salsa record before, so it was really interesting, the process in itself, and it took 2-3 years to really finish this entire project. We have Ruben Blades is singing, Gloria Estefan, Victor Manuel, Luis Enrique, Debi Nova, Jean Rodriguez, Tony Sucar, Mimi Sucar, my dad, Pete Escobedo, my mom, El Canario. I don't know, I might be missing some, but it's an incredible album, and I'm really proud of this. The salsa music is completely different than Latin jazz, which is what I grew up as an artist, being a musician, but it was very challenging to do this, and I'm really proud of it, and everyone's been loving the record, so I hope that everyone gets it. It's called Bailar, and it's out now.
That's great, and you really have a lot of collaborators in this. This is what's fun, right? to
Oh,
collaborate?
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It was pretty amazing to get all of these, some of them friends forever, and some new friends. So it's really cool to work with artists you've never worked with before.
So what would you say is the biggest challenge of doing something like a salsa album versus other albums you've done in your career?
The first challenge is musically. My dad bringing music into the home when we were younger, and him being a Latin jazz artist. Latin jazz is completely different than salsa music. So it was pretty challenging to play specific parts that you must play in order for that music to become one piece. And we didn't grow up knowing what that really was. I mean, we played it, we sat in playing with other artists, but to be able to play it and make it authentic, you had to really know what you were doing. And the musicians, all the people that we used, the incredible musicians in Miami, were amazing to be able to put that with Tony Sucar. And the second challenging thing was I don't speak Spanish. So everyone thinks that I do. And to sing in Spanish, I can do a little bit, but, to sing a lot of stuff in words I've never said before is like, oh my God, it was challenging musically and lyrically, but
Wow.
we had a blast doing it though.
So I guess that was the biggest challenge, not knowing that you couldn't speak Spanish, to sing Spanish and really make sure you have the correct dialect for what they wanted. Everyone else that collaborated on this album, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And singing in Spanish and playing. We've only done one performance with the salsa band. So we look forward to doing some other shows once we put the band together. But we did our first ever performance in Miami, and it was incredible. It was amazing. So I can't wait to go back out even with that band. That'll be my third band as we're touring. We'll get it together though.
There'll be have to be some prep for that one, right? When you do
Oh
that.
yeah, for sure.
And I guess, when you think about performing, what do you think your fondest memories in your career? What would you say was the greatest moment in your career?
I mean, the first one was really playing with my dad at a time that I didn't know I wanted to be a musician. I was training to be in the Olympics. I was a track and field uh, star, and I was going to win a gold medal in the Olympic. I was that good.
I
And
didn't
I
read
was,
it. I never knew that. Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, and I played on an undefeated women's soccer team for 5 years. We were undefeated. So I was into sports. I was an athlete like my mom. That's where I got that from. And the performance that I played with my dad, I was 15, and that changed my life that day because he was already signed to Clive Davis. They were touring with the Temptations and Earth, Wind and Fire, and to play with my dad at that time, he had a really huge band and record, and to play that show, I realized, like, wait, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And after the
Heck yeah.
show, yeah, I just that whole feeling, I had never felt anything. It was like an out of body experience and very spiritual. And I didn't realize, like, I love competing, and this was just completely different. So after the show, I told my dad, I was like, Daddy, Daddy. I started crying. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. He's like, No, are you kidding?
Oh
You
my God.
know,
Yeah.
yeah. So 2 weeks later, I went out on tour with my dad, and I never looked back. That was the beginning of my career.
Go figure. And you never knew those things. Best place people could pick up tickets. You're going to enjoy Philly, but you're going to love Pittsburgh more on Thursday night. But where can people pick up tickets? Where's the best place?
Go to the website where the show is and pick up the tickets.
We appreciate it. We'll love you in Pittsburgh. And I definitely want to have you back on when you're telling me about the salsa. Because remember, I'm a nationally syndicated show, #2 celebrity podcast in the world, according to FeedSpot. Thanks you again for coming on the show, and best of luck to you. And we'll definitely connect again.
Thanks, Neil. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show. We'll be back in just a moment.